Welcome to State of the Arts. I'm your host, Jason Hedden. We're coming to you from the campus of Gulf Coast State College in Panama City, Florida. And in this series, we like to talk to some of the movers and shakers in the local art scene. My guest today is local musician Paul mcauliffe. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jason.
It's always a pleasure talking with you. And so we've worked together a few times in the past here at the college.
Yes, sir.
And I know you have a pretty eclectic background when it comes to music. I've seen some pretty cool photos of you playing bass guitar in the 70s. Tell me a little bit about your musical background. How'd you get into music?
Well, when I heard the Beatles in February of 1964 and Ed Sullivan, I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life with most of the other people of my generation. And I got myself a cheap Silvertone acoustic guitar and went downhill from there. Loved playing guitar, got in a rock and roll band at age 12, played lead guitar for a while, switched to bass at age 17. I just fell in love with the bass, electric bass guitar, and played bass for a couple decades in various bands, starting with rock and roll, then getting into jazz fusion. Was classically trained on the double bass at Albany State University in upstate New York, and played in the University Chamber Orchestra and in the Union College Orchestra in Schenectady. Awesome. I still love classical, but went on to perform more in jazz and Western swing bands, and as part of a folk duo for a number of years. Played in a country band for 2 years. That's a whole novel in itself. Up in Vermont, that was.
Okay.
Yeah, and but I stopped playing in my mid-30s, early 30s, 30 years ago, due to osteoarthritis, which destroyed my career, and that's what sent me south. And I had never thought I'd be doing music again. And but then 12 years ago, I discovered the flutes, and the earth moved, and my life changed, and I found myself unexpectedly in a whole new music career, which has just been a joy. It's just been an absolute joy.
Fantastic. Well, when I think of you, I think of music, but I also think of storytelling. And I know you're a member of Bay Storytellers. Can you tell me a little bit about that group and how you got connected?
Yes. I had never thought I'd be a storyteller either. I'd always done some writing. But about 5 years ago now, Pat Neese of the Bay Storytellers asked me if I wanted to play flutes during one of their performances. And one thing led to another, and I started telling some short stories of my own and found I developed a whole new love of oral storytelling and began giving programs called Flutes and Storytelling on my own. Mm-hmm. And to this day, I perform whenever I get the opportunity with the Bay Storytellers. Mm-hmm. Some of the senior, what I call master storytellers, like Pat Neese and Judy Cooley and Wayne Garrett, I watch them and listen to them and learn from them. And storytelling's an ancient art, and it's a way to learn, it's a way to teach, it's a way just to learn about ourselves and our own humanity. And seeing that we all make the same mistakes and we all do the same good and bad things, and it's just something that I could spend the rest of my life exploring the art of storytelling. There's a richness to it that really appeals to me, and sometimes I get to incorporate flute in my stories as well, which is a lot of fun.
Now, you're also you make some of your own flutes, is that correct?
I've made many in the past. I haven't been in the last couple of years due to health issues, but I'm looking forward to starting again very soon as the weather cools here. I'm looking to start making bamboo flutes again, something I really love doing. Again, I never thought to become an instrument maker.
Sure. And
I started about 7 or 8 years ago, and just found myself drawn to it. There's something wonderful about it's something tangible. You actually create something with your hands, and when it's done, you can say, "I made this." And I've never been a person who's handy with tools, but I just took to flute making, and to make something and to hear other people make that instrument sing is just an amazing amazing, really satisfying experience.
So, do you work with someone? Is there sort of a master flute maker? Is this apprenticeship type style, or all sort of trial and error? How do you?
I first got started with a local flute maker named Billy Whitefox. Makes amazing flutes and is an amazing flute player. Also got some knowledge from the late Doug Reed of Fort Walton Beach. Doug passed away a couple of years ago, and I took a seminar with him and Billy one time, and Billy showed me some stuff on my own, and other flute makers who have been very, very generous with their knowledge, and I've been able to pass that on to another flute maker named Brian Skoski, who lives in Lynn Haven, and it's been such an honor to take what my teachers gave me and pay it forward and teach someone else the art. And I've told him, now you have to pass it on to someone else. And he doesn't, I don't think he feels he's ready yet, but he certainly is. And so it's good to see that circle just unbroken.
For sure. I know that you sometimes have the opportunities to share your flute and storytelling with young audiences, with children. How do you find that they respond to your work?
Oh, that's one of the most enjoyable things of all, is working with the kids. I got to do a program with 80 first graders at Highland Park Elementary School, and what a gas to work with the little ones. And they love the sound, and they have great questions, and it makes it easy for the teachers, because the kids just quiet down and they listen and they respond, and the teachers can relax for a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's no discipline problems when you're playing the flutes and telling the stories. They're all just right with you, and that's just a really enjoyable thing, really satisfying thing to do.
Well, it's been a real pleasure working with you over the last few years on a couple productions. I guess we worked together on Midsummer Night's Dream initially, and then Miracle of the White Leaves. But between those two, you also worked with director Brian Bailiff on Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead.
Right.
Am I forgetting any?
No, those are the three.
But I know you've recently been working with dancers and accompanying a local dance troupe. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Gypsy Parvana belly dance. It's a whole different challenge for a musician to accompany dancers. And I had done some of it in the past, and I'm doing more of it recently on flute and also on electric bass guitar. I'm able to play again here in this warmer climate, and as long as I don't overdo it, and drumming as well on the djembe, the West African hand drum. And it's a whole different challenge. The dancers are the center of attention, and you have to accompany them and make things so that they don't have to worry about what you're doing at all. They have to have the confidence in you that you're going to do what they've asked you to do, and your rhythms are going to be in the pocket. And so all they have to do is concentrate on their art and not worry about what the people behind them are doing. And it's just another great challenge. I just, especially in the last year or so, I've been finding more than ever I have this urge to stretch out as a creative individual, as an artist, as a musician. Artist meaning all-inclusive, whether it's accompanying dancers or working with storytellers or playing music on my own or telling stories on my own. And just I like to keep pushing myself, and it just keeps life fresh and keeps the brain active.
Sure. Well, the work with the dancers, is the music improvisational in nature, or is it set beforehand? How are you all working?
It's set. I've done some gigs with drummer Curtis Oxley, who's an amazing young drummer, a student here at the college. And we do a lot of improvising in that way, where we'll just start a rhythm and the ladies will dance. But for actual performances, for formal performances, they need to have a set time. They need to know when you're going to start and when you're going to end, because they're choreographing their dances as a group. So they need to know that we're going to start here and we're going to end here, and what the basic tempo is going to be. And it's just a great creative challenge.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, how long have you been in Bay County, Paul?
I've been in Bay County since 2000.
Okay.
And so 15 years now.
All right. Well, how have you seen? I've been asking lots of people this. I've been back almost 8 years now. How have you seen the arts community grow and or change in the time that you've been here?
It's grown by leaps and bounds. The difference over the last 15 years is amazing. Seeing how theater is growing in this area, whether it's here at the college or at Kaleidoscope or over in the Destin, Sandestin area.
Sure. We've got Seaside Rep, Emerald Coast
Seaside
Theater
Rep,
Company,
yeah.
Martin Theater, of course here downtown.
Martin Theater.
The local high school programs.
Definitely, definitely. And how much is happening with art centers like City Arts Co-op on Laverne Avenue in Panama City, and Heather Parker's wonderful Floriopolis Arts Center in St. Andrews, which is experiencing, St. Andrews is an area of Panama City is experiencing a real renaissance right now.
Yeah.
And I think this whole area is there's wonderful things happening that I never expected to see here.
And we have the recently renamed Panama City Center for the Arts that's under the umbrella of Bay Arts Alliance. So there's yet another venue in the downtown corridor, which is pretty exciting to see all these things.
And I've played for
together.
arts events, openings for various artists there as well.
So tell me, Paul, if I wanted to get, I see you've got a copy of your CD there, which I happen to own. I enjoy that very much. If I wanted to buy some of your music, or I want to follow your gigs with Bay Storytellers, where's the best way to get a hold of some Paul McAuliffe material?
To find out about upcoming gigs, Facebook is the best place to find me. I've also been really enjoying writing on Facebook. It's sort of like my blog, and I've been having a lot of outrageous fun with my Facebook posts, and I always post about upcoming gigs there as well. My CDs are available on cdbaby.com, and also at Blue Heron Fine Gifts on the beach. Blue Heron's a wonderful store owned by Leslie and Dennis Brown, and they're located in the Publix Mall on Back Beach Road.
Right there by Breakfast Point.
Exactly.
Right there. Yeah, I know it real well. Yeah, good folks over there.
They sure are.
Well, would you mind sharing a piece with us, Paul, on the
It just so
on
happens
the flute?
I have a
it's
flute with me.
it's laying there.
Look at it.
You know, we might as well play it.
Yeah, this is a Native American drone flute. And to my understanding, Native North Americans started making these flutes about 30 or 40 years ago. And they got the idea from the drone flutes made by Native Central and South Americans that are traditionally made of clay. And but the Native Americans have taken and made them their own instruments. They make them out of various kinds of wood. This one is mahogany, and also out of bamboo as well. This one was made by a man who calls himself Cousin Bruce, a member of the Creek Nation from Central Florida, who is now living in Colorado. But they have 2 mouth holes, 2 sound holes, and 2 bores. And one side is just the drone for the single note, and the other side has 6 finger holes for melody. And this is a song called Tejas Canyon. Years ago, I worked as a national park backcountry ranger in Guadalupe Mountains National Park, and Tejas Canyon was one of my favorite places in the park.
Beautiful. Thanks, Paul. It's always such a pleasure to hear your music and speak with you. I appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you to our guest, Paul McAuliffe, for joining us. This is Jason Hedden for State of the Arts here at Gulf Coast State College. We'll see you next time.